Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Trend Trader, with a little update on Bitcoin. It's not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. These markets are extremely volatile, so please do your own research and trade responsibly. So here we have Bitcoin on the daily, and boy, have we got some action. Ever since we broke out of our downward sloping descending channel right here, broke out, came back, retested it, confirmed to the market. It was a legitimate breakout, busted all the way up, and now look, we're coming in now towards our overhead resistance. I was not expecting Bitcoin to be quite this powerful, so we could at any point in time break through this resistance and continue on up. But what I'm seeing here on the longer time frames, when we take a look at this, I have it on the daily right now. If you've seen this chart before, if you've been watching this channel for a while, and you know this green parabolic trend line is our parabolic support that we've been up in, and the white one comes from previous one, and essentially like comes all the way from the bottom, and then that was our breakdown capitulation point. The red line here at the top, that one is based on weekly. Let me switch over to the weekly real quick, actually. But you can actually see that white line comes all the way up, the green line, and then the blue is from the top to the bottom, and then now the red is coming from top to top. And when we zoom in, it's going from body closes, body closes, body closes, all the way down. Maybe off just slightly there a little bit when you switch the time frame, but you essentially get the point. And that's coming in at the top area right there, and the green one is the support at the bottom right here that we've been bouncing up off of. And we had talked about this previously. Essentially, we formed, sorry about this crazy plane going over. We had talked about this previously, how we expected to happen is come up here, get rejected, sell back off, and then get our break of the channel at some point in time. And the most likely thing to happen was that we ping pong around inside of this flag. Now we did. We broke out this channel, we confirmed, and we made it all the way to the top area of the channel. And now here we are at the overhead resistance, and it wasn't that long ago we had went on that run up here, and we were flagging out for the last 6 months basically. Well, it was about 3 months of it was 3 months of it was in this area right here, and that was our support at the bottom here. We never got a candle close on the weekly below that, and then as soon as we broke down from it, that's when we capitulated down. And we had talked about this channel was forming ahead of time before we ever broke out of this descending triangle. And then just like we said, we came back up, retested it, sold back off to the bottom of the channel again, and then we put in that head and shoulders pattern, rode it up, and I thought it was going to underperform and sell off at the channel right here. I really did, and I took profits way too early on a lot of that, and I did miss a lot of the action in here. But again, I'm waiting for confirmations on this stuff because I'm expecting a very long-term trend breakout, multi-year trade, and not just the little ping-ponging around, have a little fun, in the meantime, and play money trades. I'm talking about legitimate like wealth. And I think exactly what's happening here is we tested the bottom here, we came back up, we tested the top, and I think what's going to happen now is we're going to come back down here. We're going to test the bottom for real and test the breakout on a weekly time frame, because we haven't done that. We didn't test this on like a weekly. I mean, we closed outside of it and then we took off, but we didn't come back to it. We didn't really retest it the way that the market likes to retest things. So if we got this sell-off here at the overhead breakdown resistance point from the triangle, okay, we got this sell-off, we come back up. If we sold off right here and top out at this red line that was basically the market top from 20,000 down to our essentially like 12,000 candle close areas in here. If we got the top out in here, they correspond perfectly with our fib levels as well. That's going to be the 382 on the fib level, and the white line is the breakdown point from that descending triangle. We came down on the channel, touched the bottom, came back up, and now look, I already have it drawn out here, but that's essentially a reversal pattern, a full-on head and shoulders reversal pattern. And all we would have to do to confirm essentially on this, or all we would have to do to finish developing it, is just like I said, we come up here, we sell off and come down and retest one more time that trend line that we've been testing so many times. We stay inside this flag that we've been forming, and then we come down here, test the breakout, and look, I'm looking for confluence with these things, multiple things lining up the same. we bounce off the 618, we come back up to the 382, we come down and don't make it to the 618 this time, and we would form essentially our left shoulder down here. There's our right shoulder right there. Come back up to retest, and then we could potentially get our breakout, and the breakout would take us up to, I mean, the breakout would probably take us, it would break us out of this and give us like a high essentially inside of, this pattern that we're forming. So we could realistically come back up here to like 13,000 or something like that, and then essentially based on what happens from there, anything could happen. I would expect bullish continuation from that point in time, as this would essentially be like a consolidation pattern forming a higher low and then a breakout, and then as soon as we put in a higher high, that would confirm to the market essentially and to myself that we would have an uptrend and that we would continue moving to the upside and probably retest the 20,000 range at that point in time. Break through it, consolidate, and then, the sky's the limit at that point in time. But just looking at the chart and everything, this looks very likely to me as a potential scenario. Everything lines up. There's a lot of like things that correspond in this that would lead me to believe that this is likely to happen. I think essentially coming back up here and testing that 0.5 of this whole entire situation, we could potentially break through it. And I think realistically what could happen right here is if we got a powerful move up here in the next couple of days and essentially got a higher close, I think we could continue straight up right now and test it, and that would essentially be like like a bottoming, full-on bottomed out pattern if we broke through this here. I mean, I could definitely see that happening, and I would be excited to see that happening. I'm starting to get excited for this market, but I do have to remain. I have a very specific trading plan and strategy, and I have to stick to that. And I completely understand, how exciting it is to capture, 100% of a move like this, but you cannot go broke taking profits. So I have no problems having taken profits at the top of this channel here, and getting stopped out on a short, anticipating that we would keep doing what we've been doing because it's been profitable for me so many times. And I do understand that sometimes, it looks bad when, I was on the wrong side of that one, and that's completely fine, because with proper risk management and position sizing and, a trading plan and sticking to it, you're going to succeed in these markets for a long period of time. And part of my strategy is that I don't trade against the dominant trend. And so on shorter time frames, yes, I will take scalps and swings here and there. But realistically, like, the way you have to look at it, or the way I look at it, and people don't normally just put their business out like that. But I sold my spot Bitcoin, my trading position, at close to 12.5. So I sold up in this region, and I bought back some of it in the $6,800 range. So regardless of my trades and my trade setups and what I'm doing with the account that I'm playing around in, that was essentially, not to mention the profit I made on the way up, that essentially like almost doubled my account. Just that alone, that one single trade down, and then repurchasing my spot for half price. Not to mention the additional trades that I made along the way, the shorts that I made money off with a portion of my actual trading account, like that I trade in smaller scalps or swing trades. So you have to understand that when people are doing like trades and trade setups and going long or going short or staying bullish or staying bearish or whatever, you have to understand that everyone's in a different position, and that's why this is not financial advice. And people say they're not your financial advisor, they don't know your personal situation, and it's very dangerous if you just jump in and follow someone, based on like seeing them on the internet. And that's why it's so important to me, to wait for confirmations, because that's part of my trade strategy, but also to stress to the community and to viewers, that this is not a signal service. And that's why I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. I'm not trying to convince you of my positions or my trades or anything like that. I'm literally just sharing my insights on the market, and essentially trying to teach people the things that I've learned, so that they can use them as well, and then obviously share the indicators also. So but this is not financial advice. So people are in different positions and doing different things, and like have spot Bitcoin or have altcoin positions or whatever, regardless. Like I'm not gonna lie, I did take a loss and got stopped out on a short over here, and I am in a short from position right here, currently, but that's just a couple small positions that I have that's nothing to do with other coins and cryptos and gold, silver, all different assets. Because like for instance, like I have other positions. I don't want to name drop, and I don't really like dealing with altcoins on that level, and I don't want to push this out or the other. But I have some altcoin positions that are up like 100% in the last in the time that this has taken place. So I can take a couple percent loss on something like this, doing what I've been doing successfully, and then make money exponentially more on another trade with a smaller position even. So keep that in mind. And a lot of people, I'm not saying me specifically, like I have some skill that other people don't have, but I just mean keep that in mind that, most people, most experienced traders, most, technical analysts are not going to be involved in like a single trade at a time or like one asset or whatever. So when all these markets are fluctuating in different ways and they're going up, down, this, left, right, and the other, that's where diversification comes in. And that's part of having an actual portfolio. And it's the same way with your trading portion of your account. Like your trading portion of your account should be a very small portion of your total, like assets or investments or whatever you want to call it. Like if you have $100,000, like no one trades with $100,000, and that's like what they have. Like you use a portion of your total assets and your total net worth or value, based on your responsibility and your successfulness and everything. It's not responsible to be using a large portion of your, you need to have like a home and a car and stability and a future and retirement funds and all these different investment vehicles, not just a trading account, because that essentially is gambling. If you're just putting it all in a pot and growing it over time, that's great and everything, but you're essentially just a professional poker player. And that's the difference between investing and trading.